We've got a beautiful blue sunny sky today in Wales, very unusual. Decided to get the Stag out for a drive. Head gasket's blown. Got quite a lot of fluid coming out from underneath the car, so I actually wondered if it was a head gasket or not. AA have been out, roadside recovery, and we checked these here, and there was nothing. I mean, you can see no fluid in there at all. So we tried filling it up, swish on the engine, and she was seeing lots of water coming out of here, out of the radiator. So we have a radiator issue, and hopefully we only have a radiator issue. We did a sniffer test, we've never seen one before, on the coolant, and the AA lady was happy that the coolant was fine, and so doesn't think I have a blown a head gasket. So I'm in a good mood right now, because I might be broken down, but I only have to do a radiator replacement and not a head gasket replacement. Oh, there we have the car on the back of the truck, just heading home. Right, the reason I was out driving the car, part of the reason yesterday, was to charge up that battery. It's flat again, so I need to replace the battery as well. So I've just checked, there's no fluid on the floor at the moment. Let's see if I can show you that. There you go, so that's underneath the car at the front. Okay, so we've got nothing under there at the moment. I don't know how much I've actually got in there, so I'm going to fill it up. I'm just using water, not even distilled, because it's going to have to be flushed out anyway. So I'm going to open it up, fill it up, check for a leak, see if anything there. Start it up, see if I can see it. Okay, so we do have a puddle over there from where I was filling up, but we haven't got anything over here. So we're going to try starting up the engine and see if we can see anything. Right, so yesterday they said they could see it coming out of here. But I'm not actually seeing anything. So there's nothing dripping underneath. So that doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. That makes me think it's more likely it was something to the back, something in the engine. So I have just run the engine a little bit, so this is probably a bit splattered up. Now, is that at all milky? I'm going to clean it off and have another look. Right, so that's how it came out. That doesn't look bad to me. I mean, that looks like just fairly clean oil, which it should be, because it wasn't driven a huge amount after the last oil change. So, where have we got a leak from? I think what we might have to do is pull it out so we can see a bit better. So it's been running for about 5 minutes. The temperature over there now, my temp gauge is always very low, so if it gets up to a quarter, that's about as far as it ever goes. Whereas yesterday it almost got to the red. Okay, So the temp is staying where it always is, and the oil over here is also staying just below the 50 mark. And if I give it a blip, we'll probably see a bit of movement in it. Okay, so that's all okay. So that's not unusual. I can't see particularly any water, apart from it looks like, if we can zoom in on it, just here, I'm not sure if that's water coming out there. It's certainly not streaming out, and we can see it's not there either. So I do wonder if I've just been very, very slowly losing coolant. Yesterday was the last straw, and because I top up from the overflow, I hadn't noticed that I'd been low. I suppose it's a possibility. Appears to me, until it's warmed up, the water might not be going through to the radiator. So it's beginning to warm. And so we might see the leak too. If there is one. So you can see that that temperature gauge has begun to creep up just a little bit. But it really, very rarely goes much higher than that for me. Okay, so this pipe here is starting to warm up. Yeah, so I can clearly touch it, but it's not burning yet. I'm not seeing anything new coming through here though. So it's a new day. So I've got a new battery here. The reason for that is this one keeps needing a charge, so we're going to replace it. I hope the one I've got will fit. That'd be dreadful if it doesn't. Then we're going to top up again, and we're going to make sure it's dry here under there, and then we're going to see if it gets wet. So for anyone not aware, in order to get your new battery in, you actually have to disconnect the steering pump. Loosen it up and then put that back on. Anyway, battery's in there. We're going to fix it down, reinstall the pump, and see what we have. Well, that's hard work. So that's back in. I think that's should be okay. So we're going to just start it up first, make sure it's running, and then we'll come back to the coolant. Okay, so we can see we're down a tiny bit of fluid, not really a lot in there, but it is below this pipe, so I'm just going to top that up. And then we've tidied up, cleaned up a bit down there, but we're going to top it up, and then we're going to see if we can work out if it's leaking there. So hopefully you can see that I have cleaned up a lot of the liquid from down there, and so we're going to leave it to run for a bit and see if that gets wet again. I don't know if I've really captured this on video, but I'm getting occasional, what looks like tiny drops of water just in there. It's kind of, you get a sparkle. And so I don't know if that is water dropping or if that's the fan causing it or what. So I think what I might do is get some Radwell and see if that sorts it out. The car is warmed up and I've still got smoke coming out the back like that. So I have been told that smoke out the back can be an indicator of a blown gasket. And actually it does seem to be more coming out of one than the other. Now I don't know if they are separate to different banks of cylinders or if they merge, but so I think I might also get myself the chemicals to do a sniffer test and see what that looks like. Okay, so this is my testing kit, and I haven't read the instructions, so this will go here. That's interesting. I can't actually get it into the water. Oh well. This then must go on there. So I think what we might do is just put it straight like that. You fill up half of it with the blue fluid. Switch on the engine. Let it run until you get to a nice idle. And if that doesn't change to either a green or a yellow, then your engine's okay. Yeah, so we'll fill it up and see. Okay, so I'm using that to hold it in there instead, and I think I might have put a little bit too much. It says to fill it to the level below the middle chamber, so that's a bit higher than that. There's an image of it here as well. So that's what we've done. We're going to go switch on the engine now and see how we do. Okay, so the problem with my solution is I am dribbling a bit of coolant out of there. But hopefully this is working, so there must be enough coming up in it still. Right, the engine's now warmed. Oh, actually it's not even warm to the touch yet. We'll give it some bit longer, but we've got no colour change at all, which is fantastic so far. So I know I'm leaking coolant here, but that's the least of my worries. I'm going to walk away, give it 10 minutes and come back. Okay, well, we've revved the engine up at 1500 for a couple of minutes. We've let it idle for a good 10-15 minutes. We're really not seeing anything. You can see there's fluid, I don't know if you can see that coming in there. So assuming I've done it right, and I see no reason to think that I haven't, I think I'm okay, which I'm really, really pleased about. So in the engine, I mean, it's not, you know, I can put my hand on it, but it's, you can feel the warmth coming through. So, and my understanding is these things you should see it fairly quickly. So I'm going to assume my engine is in fact okay. Okay, I'm delighted by that. So yeah, that's quite hot now. I'm delighted by that. So we're going to put this back together. I've got some rad weld, so I'm going to go and read the instructions for that. I won't be doing it just yet, but I've got some rad weld, and so we're going to apply that, which I think is you just put it in, run the engine for a bit, you know, maybe go for a drive, whatever, and it will weld it all up and sort out the radiator. I hope that will get rid of whatever leak I have had, since I haven't been able to find one. And then I'll just have to keep an eye on it. It's just very embarrassing that I clearly didn't have enough coolant in there, and it's came through when I did a longer drive, but you know, I haven't been seeing it leak out. Anyway, that's what we're going to do. Right, so the instructions for this stuff are to add it to your either overflow or your radiator, wherever you top it up. Fill up with your regular mixture of coolant, run it for 15 minutes, check for leaks. Since I put some just tap water in there, I want to get that coolant out anyway. And up there I've got some concentrated antifreeze coolant, and here I've got some deionized water. The car, I think, takes about 10 litres in total, so I think between those two I should have about 10 litres. Might be a bit short, but what we're going to do is we're going to drain the coolant first and go from there. Right, so early Stags have coolant plugs in the bottom of the engine block, and you can take those out to help drain it. The later Stag, which this one is, doesn't, and so you just unscrew from the bottom of the radiator there and go for it. Okay, so we're off for a test drive now. So I've changed the coolant. I've got the rad weld in there, and 15 minutes, so should be fine in a while. I have spare coolant in the back, so that if it goes again I can stop, wait for it to cool off. And I don't have a 21mm spanner with me. Right, let's get that as well. And then we'll go for a drive and hopefully it will all be okay. Okay, so we're back. We've been I don't know, probably about 40 to 50 minute drive, and the temperature hasn't moved off here, which is where it normally sits, so I'm pretty comfortable with that. And the oil is suddenly a bit low, so normally it's up there, but it's suddenly fallen a bit, which I'm not sure about. Anyway, I've come to the conclusion it's okay. I'm so relieved about that. I think I'm going to still do a few checks and things. I'm going to see why that oil pressure might have fallen off a bit. So that's all I've got for you. I hope you enjoyed my mass panic over the car. I'm going to try to get back to the TR7. I'm just struggling to get the motivation at the moment, because we've had maybe 2 days without rain, last Sunday and today, in the last 6 months, and it just really gets to me. And I don't like particularly just moving this car out into the rain, which is what I have to do to work on the TR7. So we'll see how we get on. But until next time, thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed.